2023 is shaping up to be a big year for Godzilla fans, with the surprise announcement that the latest entry in the series will release at the end of the year. We first learned the title of the new film in June, and now we have our first taste of the upcoming Godzilla Minus One, as the first official teaser for the film arrives. It's been 7 years since Toho released their last live-action Godzilla entry with Shin Godzilla, and while I've enjoyed the trilogy of anime films in Singular Point, I'm ecstatic by the prospect of getting to see a new Toho-produced live-action film in theaters before the year's end. We still know very little about this film, but between the handful of promotional materials that have surfaced in the new teaser, we're starting to get a clearer picture of what to expect from Godzilla Minus One. On the official Godzilla website, the new movie is described as such. Godzilla Minus One is written and directed by Takashi Yamazaki, and sees an already devastated post-war Japan facing a new threat in the form of Godzilla. The official press release for the film also offers this description. The worst despair in the series' history strikes Japan. After the war, Japan has been reduced to zero. Godzilla appears and plunges the country into a negative state. The most desperate situation in the history of Japan. Who and how will Japan stand up to it? It's certainly an intriguing premise, and if the new teaser is any indication, we're in for one heck of a Godzilla movie. The first teaser for the film is only 35 seconds long, but that's plenty of time to leave you satisfied and smiling.
That's what she said!
Right from the get-go, we know this is post-war Japan struggling to rebuild. We see images of a devastated Tokyo, including the famous clock tower featured in the '54 film. The next shot seems to depict a large bomb crater. Or is it a volcano? I can't seem to stop seeing Mount Mihara when I look at this image. I truly can't make up my mind with what I'm seeing here, so feel free to sound off in the comments with what you think it is. We get a staggering shot of debris from destroyed buildings and a crowd gathered behind a fenced-off area as scientists survey the damage. Also, am I crazy, or is that the umbrella logo? The words, "From Zero to Minus" appear. What follows is a rapid montage of destruction scenes. We see a whirlwind of havoc as Godzilla swipes his tail. Hordes of people running for their lives as Godzilla's mighty foot stomps down. A child helpless and alone in the chaos. The sobering manner with which these shots are presented is an undeniable callback to the '54 film, with the shot of the child recalling the scene where the mother tries to calm her children as they await their deaths. Godzilla Minus One. The last thing we see in the trailer is a brief shot of Godzilla's face close up, just as he's about to bite down on a train car. But perhaps most surprising is the closing revelation that Godzilla Minus One will debut in US theaters on December 1st of this year. Conversely, the Japanese release date will fall on November 3rd, which just so happens to be Godzilla's 69th birthday.
Really? Nothing.
According to the teaser, Takashi Yamazaki is responsible for VFX, writing and directing the film. Yamazaki has already been involved with 2 other projects involving Godzilla in the past. The first is the 2007 film, Always, Sunset on 3rd Street 2, which he directed. Stateside fans caught wind of this during the dry spell between Final Wars and the 2014 film, as it featured a dream sequence that served as one of Godzilla's only appearances during that 10-year period. Yamazaki would once again get the chance to direct Toho's biggest star with Godzilla the Ride, Giant Monster's Ultimate Battle in 2021. The Ride is a virtual flying theater motion simulator featuring a short film directed by Yamazaki that features an impressive battle between Godzilla and King Ghidorah, with an appearance by Rodan. The short made a splash within the fandom when it was released due to its impressive visuals and original Godzilla design, which many fans hoped would surface in the next Toho Godzilla production. Now Yamazaki has been trusted with a feature-length Godzilla film, the first live-action Japanese film since 2016. And from what we've seen so far, I've gotta say my anticipation for this film is through the roof. Speaking about the premise of Minus One, Yamazaki described it as such. Post-war Japan has lost everything. The film depicts an existence that gives unprecedented despair. The title Godzilla Minus One was created with this in mind. In order to depict this, the staff and I have worked together to create a setting where Godzilla looks as if fear itself is walking towards us, and where despair is piled on top of despair. I think this is the culmination of all the films I have made to date, and one that deserves to be experienced rather than watched in the theater. I hope you will experience the most terrifying Godzilla in the best possible environment. Many fans have speculated that Minus One will be one of the darkest entries in the Godzilla series in recent memory, and I'm inclined to agree. As someone who loves both the original 54 film and Godzilla 1984 for their dark atmospheric approach, I would love nothing more than for this movie to live up to the hype. The heavy use of the word despair in the marketing has me hopeful. With the release of the trailer, the film's new design for the King of the Monsters has been unveiled and fans are rightfully hyped about it. While the trailer only shows us a few brief glimpses, SH Monster Arts has already revealed their figure based on the film, giving us our best look at all the minute details of the new Godzilla design. There is also an official image showcasing the full design. The new Godzilla has a fearsome face, huge dorsal spines, and rather large feet. His skin is a dark charred gray with gold highlights, and the texture of his scales is very jagged and bark-like. All in all, it's a fearsome design, and I can't wait to see more of it on the big screen. Minus One Goji looks like an update or new evolution of the design from Godzilla the Ride that was unveiled in 2021. There are some noteworthy differences, but the two designs are very clearly linked to each other. When comparing those two designs to the 2007 Godzilla, we can see something of an evolution of Yamazaki's vision of the monster. And of course there's no denying that Minus One Goji looks like a modernized reimagining of Heisei Godzilla, which is a positive in my book. For a lot of people, the Heisei design is the quintessential look for Godzilla, and it's great to see a design that serves as a callback to the past. From certain shots, I think the face of this Godzilla even evokes Stan Winston's unused 1994 design for TriStar's Godzilla a bit. I've gotta say, after nearly a decade of designs that deviate pretty heavily from the norm, it's great to know that we'll have a more traditional design on screen. As you can probably already tell, I'm really excited about this movie. I think the idea of doing a post-war period piece is a really interesting direction to take the franchise in, and I'm beyond thrilled to see that Yamazaki seems to be harkening back to the 54 original. As I've already mentioned, I love when the Godzilla series goes dark, and Minus One seems dedicated to going in a bleaker direction than we've seen in a while. My imagination is running wild trying to fill in the gaps left by the teaser. Visually, Yamazaki seems to have really struck a chord with the material. The imagery in the teaser of urban rubble, and the sheer power of Godzilla's raid as people flee in terror, is top-notch. It seems like this movie wants to make Godzilla scary again, which is something I've been craving from the series personally. Because in real life, Godzilla would be terrifying, and at the end of the day, only a few Godzilla movies really depict the big guy as a horror villain. All in all, the movie looks awesome, and I, for one, can't wait for this thing to hit theaters in December. Well, that's all I have to say for now, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the new Godzilla Minus One teaser. Are you excited for this movie? Do you think it would be better than the next MonsterVerse movie due out next year? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear your opinion. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
you.